योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्.
यं शैवा समुपासते शिव इति ब्रह्मेति वेदान्तिनो बौद्धा बुद्ध इति प्रमाणपटवः कर्तेति नैयायिका अर्हन्नित्यथ जैनशासनरताः कर्मेति मीमांसकाः सोऽयं वो विदधातु वाञ्छितफलं त्रैलोक्यनाथो हरिः सोऽयं वो विदधातु वाञ्छितफलं त्रैलोक्यनाथो हरिः. शुद्धो बुद्धो विमुक्तः श्रुतिशिखरगिरां मुख्यतात्पर्यभूमिः यस्माज्जातं समस्तं जगदिदममृताद्व्याप्य सर्वं स्थितो यः यस्यांशांशावतारैः सुरनरवनजैर्रक्षितं सर्वमेतत् तं भूमानं मुकुन्दं हृदि गतममलं कृष्णमेव प्रपद्ये. तं भूमानं मुकुन्दं हृदि गतममलं कृष्णमेव प्रपद्ये. मदीयहृदयाकाशे सदानन्दमयो गुरुः उदेतु सततं सम्यक् स्वात्मानंद प्रबोधकः. See, as usual, we shall have 3 times the joint recitation of the auspicious monosyllable Omkara. I always emphasize that while doing the recitation, all of us should have a clear focus. The joint recitation should spread upon the whole earth, showering its benedictions on all creatures upon the earth. In order to do it well, in the way of an austerity, a collective austerity, beneficial to all of you, I would like you to interlock your fingers and put them on your lap. Sit comfortably erect. Don't strain yourself. But the intention should be to sit erect. Close your eyes. Open the heart and the mouth and join me. I am not able to recite Omkara as I used to do. You may find it surprising. But I would like all of you to supplement and complement my voice. This is primarily meant for all of you. The Omkara has great effect on the human personality. I heard an American cardiologist say that the recitation of Om has got a very special effect on the human heart. It enhances the longevity of the heart. It also administers a great degree of health and well-being. So far as the spiritual effects are concerned, they are untold. You close your, no, you need not. Simply, the Om is made up of 3 syllables. Ah, ah. You know what is this ah? Any mouth, if the lips are kept wide open and a sound is produced, it will necessarily become ah. If you keep the lips in the middle position and then produce ooh, it will automatically become ooh. The other ah, ah. And the other sound is when you close your lips and produce a sound, it will become mm. So this is a combination of ah, oo, both together become o, and then lips are closed. So om, om. That sound has got such an effect on the brain, the grey matter inside the head. Very effective, very effective. Suppose people are quarreling, even in your own house. Simply go there and chant, Om, you will quarrelers will stop quarreling. Try it. And then let me know. So, we shall now chant. Keep in mind, this expansion of your own mind whereby you feel my Omkara recitation is going to spread upon the whole earth. Imagine how pervasive it has to be. So now let us start. Oh, Harihi Om Tatsat. Jaya Guru. Jaya Guru. The subject chosen for discussion today is realize your inner potential for success. Realize your inner potential for success. I think everybody should like it because all of you want to be successful in life. But people don't know how to make life successful. Wherein lies the key for success? Realize your inner potential. This is a phrase that I would like you to understand. We always speak about the body. Many people go to the gymnasium. What for? To do exercises. What is the purpose? To strengthen and make the body flexible. Our body has more than 450 muscles and a similar or equal number of joints. Are you hearing me? 450 muscles odd, more than that. And similar number of joints. What are they meant for? Every one of them is meant to be used. But are we using them? Are we conscious of it? Somehow we walk, we do many things, but we are not careful to make sure that all our movements are such that all these joints and muscles will be helped strengthened. They will be very happy. The other day, a cardiologist from Delhi, very much devoted to me and our ashram, she came there. And while explaining all that, she was mentioning, you should pat the muscles and compliment them, she said. So I was very stunned by her statement. You have to pat them and compliment them, she says, and they will be very happy. So every muscle should be used. How to make sure of this? The one process is to walk, or they say swim. Walking or swimming, it will make all the muscles exercised. That is one point. We must have targeted exercises. Exercises for the neck, shoulders, chest, abdomen, hip, thighs, knees, calf muscles, ankles, feet, elbow, forearm, etc. wrist. Targeted exercises should be taken. This is how we can keep our body fit. I take about 60 to 70 exercises a day besides walking. And some of them are very rigorous exercises. Now I am wondering whether I should do the rigorous part or not. I am trying to experiment. This is all so far as physical potential is concerned. But do you think that you are only the body and muscles? Certainly not. An understanding of human personality is required. Our personality is a composite one. What do you mean by a composite? It is not one item or one facet that the personality contains. In that composite personality, our body is the external gross part. External gross part. We have the internal counterpart, the internal part in our personality. The inner personality consists of three constituents. One is the emotional mind, another is the rational intelligence, and the third is the assertional ego. These are the three constituents of the inner personality. And the body consists of many things. Doctors know it better. I don't know much. But I can say something in general, that's all. This inner personality is very, very important. Our body is made up of matter. Will you agree with me when I say this? Huh? Yes or no? Yes. Our body is made up of only the food that you eat, the water you drink, the air you breathe. All these are matter. Not only that, they are inert, I-N-E-R-T. Neither the body nor the senses can generate anything like an experience for you, because they are inert, like this. Then how is it that we have our experience and knowledge? Only because of the mind. The mind is not a physical part of the body. Mark my words. Mind is not a physical part of the body. But the mind is associated with the body. The mind is not body or bodily part. Therefore, it is not matter also. It is something supra-material in nature. It's a kind of a sentient presence. S-E-N-T-I-E-N-T. That mind is what makes you conscious of the body. That is the mind which makes every part of the body, every sensory organ, do their respective functions. Am I clear or not? Huh? Will you remember this? The mind alone causes all experiences and all knowledge. The body is totally inert, totally inert. It consists of Panchabhutas. What are the Panchabhutas? The solid earth, the fluid water, the gaseous air, then fire, ultimately space. All of them have nothing like sentience in them. Then how is it that we have enough of experience and knowledge? Only because of the mind. For any small or bigger movement of the body, bodily limbs and sensory organ, the mind should animate and activate them. Will you understand this? So between the body on the one hand and the mind on the other, tell me which is more important. You don't know? Huh? Say strongly, well. Mind. So your importance and attention should be more to the mind or less to the mind. Are you trying to build up the children at home accordingly? Right from the childhood, you should be able to bring up the children, telling them the importance of the mind, the greater role the mind is playing, and try to develop their mind, the emotional mind, and rational intelligence, and also the assertional ego. My dear souls, we are too ignorant. We people know to marry. We also wish for children. Children are born at home, no doubt. Only at home. Maybe in the hospital. But how to bring up the children? The mother feeds the child, feeds the body. But she does not generally feed the mind, feed the intelligence. As you are feeding the body and nourishing the body, you should feed the mind and the intelligence also. But people do not know that there is something called mental feeding and intellectual feeding. That is our problem. The success that we are speaking about, what is this word success? What does it mean? Is it a reference to the body or bodily part? Huh? Why are you not reacting to what I say? By success, are we referring to the body's function or bodily part? Success is a concept. It's an idea. That idea belongs to the mind. When you are successful, you are happy. Happiness is also, contentment is also of the mind. The body has no contentment. If it is hungry and it is fed well, it will feel full, that's all. Appeased. Contentment is an emotion. As an emotion, it belongs to the mind. It belongs to the mind. So, in order to generate contentment, where should you look for? Should you look at an object or should you look at your own mind? Tell me, my dear souls. Let the discussion be vibrant. So you have to be responding to when I ask. You call it contentment, happiness, joy, revelry, delight, exultation. Any word you put, it is something belonging to the mind, belonging to the mind. So if you want to be successful in life, which part of your personality should build up this success and successfulness? Is it the body or the mind? Are you sure? So treat your mind, develop your mind, culture your mind, enrich your mind, empower your mind, elevate your mind, expand your mind in such a manner that in life you will have successfulness. Normally we have a constricted mind. We don't have an expansive mind. A child is born in a family. In my home a child is born. I have got a child. Now with the birth of the child, both the husband and the mother, their hearts and minds should expand. As a child is born to me, so many children are born in so many other families. Biologically, she can be the mother of her child. But mentally, morally, ethically and otherwise, she should be a mother of all the children. Should it not be? Enna pesami irukal? But is it happening? I will catch you. With everything that takes place at home, the mother and the father, their minds should go on expanding. You should tell the child at a proper time, my dear child, though you are born of me and you belong to this family, understand that you are citizen of our nation. You are a citizen of the world. You have the national passport, not a family passport. Why don't you cultivate this kind of a thought process in the child? As you love the family, you should love the entire society, the entire nation and globe. I want you to grow to become a global citizen, a national citizen. This kind of an expansion should come, but it does not take place. It's all because of the fact that we do not recognize the existence of the mind and its potential and possibilities, and we don't culture, develop and cultivate our mind properly. So if you want your life to be successful, the successfulness should be cultivated by the mind, in the mind, by the mind, in the mind. So we want to realize the inner potentials so that our life could be successful. If you have a constricted mind and you perform any act whatsoever, that act also will be constricted. Suppose you have an expanded mind, a broad mind. With a broad mind, you do the same work, the work will be greatly better. Do you agree or disagree? ഒന്ന് ചൊല്ലുകൊള്ളേൻ. Understand, in our life, ever since the morning when we wake up, from that point until you go to sleep, our life is experiential. Experiential. It's also interactional. In this experiential and interactional life, mind is the sole focus for all experiences, for all interactions. Everything is designed by the mind, implemented by the mind, terminated by the mind. Every day you wake up. The moment you wake up, the world also springs forth. You go on being wakeful for 16 hours of the day, and for the remaining 8 hours you are asleep. Nobody recognizes this. Half our wakefulness we are sleeping. If you are wakeful for 16 hours, you will necessarily sleep for 8 hours. All the 16 hours of activity along with their effects and outcomes, suddenly it's all obliterated at one stroke and you are pushed to sleep. You wake up from sleep and you go to sleep from wakefulness. Am I clear? Uttukrela? Huh? There is nobody who wakes up except from sleep. And there is nobody who is wakeful except going to sleep thereafter. So every wakefulness is between two sleeps. The entire world is existing between two sleeps of the individual. So what do you think of the importance of what is inside your mind, inside your body? Your mind is something of a trifling nature, or your mind has got infinite potential? Not many are responding. Can I speak only for those who respond? So all of you should respond liberally. Why are you miserly in your response? The mind should expand. In your wakefulness, you see the entire world. You can see a mustard. You can see a mango. The same eyes can see a jackfruit. It can see a tree. It can see the seas. It can also see the sky expanse. Tell me, where is the whole vision getting registered? Everything is in the mind. A mind that reflects an infinite world around. Tell me, is that mind small or big? Is it smaller than the world or bigger than the world? So you will necessarily have to tell me that your mind has got infinite potential. Equally, infinite possibility. Anything about the mind, sky is the limit. Sky is the limit. Our body, fed by the mother, continues to grow, grow up to what level? Maximum 21 years it takes, then the growth stops. From the moment it stops, it begins to decline. It doesn't stay like that. It goes on declining and declining. That is the time you become an adult. An adult with your own thinking, your own options, your own goals, values, etc. At that point of time, if the body has stopped its growth, you tell me what in you is supposed to grow for the remaining 5 or 6 decades? Mind and intelligence. Are you conscious of this fact? And are you ensuring that your mind is growing every day? In the day, whatever interactions take place, at the end of the day, the interactions may not be all successful or all effective. Whatever happens outside, in the mind sphere, you should be enriched. When you are enriched, the world also will be enriched by your presence and by your activity. There is a way of culturing and cultivating our mind in such a manner that every day will be a day of additional enrichment, empowerment, elevation, expanse, and enlightenment. Do not doubt about it. Be bold. Use your intelligence and think about matters. Let us not leave it. The human brain and intelligence are the most, what shall I say? I have no word to describe it. The most amazing part of creation is the human intelligence. Did you not observe the Chandrayaan landing there? Some of you at least must have. See, no interference from the ground was there. Everything was inbuilt there. And they were announcing at such and such a speed, so many meters away, etc. Finally it landed. The whole world watched it. Is it not because of our intelligence? Huh? Yes. Is it because of our body? Can the body do anything? It is because of our intelligence. Every one of you is intelligent. You have the mind also. Both of them have got infinite, untold potential and therefore possibilities. So to be successful in our life is our birthright. Don't say my life has been a failure. People have spent a lot of money and they also like games, football, cricket. There will always be 2 teams. If one team wins, should not necessarily the other fail? Huh? Without the failing team, can you have success for the winning team? So together they work. Suppose a football match ends up in draw. They give additional half hour. There also no result. Then what do they say? Come and kick, penalty kick. Both completed the rounds without any difference. What will they do? Try again. Until somebody is failing. Is it a failure actually? Huh? The same team you ask for penalty kicks the next day. Maybe the losing team will win. But still we call it victory. How can victory be there without the opposite? So everywhere, let us have a broader vision, a broader assessment, a broader outlook, a broader evaluation. So to be successful in life is our birthright. Whatever we are, wherever we are, whatever we do, whether all we do succeed objectively or not, we can still be successful in our life. This is what I have to say. On behalf of our culture, on behalf of all the scriptures that we have, this is what I have to say. I have been speaking for more than 60 years. My love for this knowledge was so much that I could not continue with my professional life. I asked my employer, please allow me to retire. I am going to enter spiritual world, spiritual life. Cooperate with me, I said. This knowledge is so beautiful, so sweet, so softening on the one hand, broadening on the other, deepening on the other, so elevating on the other, that anybody who comes to know of it, he cannot but fall in love with it. So I mean a lot when I say to be successful. It is an aspiration of every energetic and intelligent individual. I always want every one of you to be successful. Think of a businessman who always makes profit. Think of another businessman who is capable of withstanding losses to any degree. Between the two, you tell me who is better. I have caught you. Who is a better person? Who can only make profit always? He is actually trading or doing industry in the world. There are so many factors which contribute to his doing in a well manner. So there will be ups and downs. In one country or the other country, many things will be affected. So a businessman who is able to sustain losses, he is a better businessman, not the one who can only work in profit. Understand it? So our idea of successfulness will change. You will be successful with whatever outcome faces you. Our mind can be set in that manner. It can be made flexible. It will be able to transform failure into success. It will be able to transform loss into profit. That kind of an outlook is possible. Our mind is not a biological product. It is a spiritual constituent. Understand it. Our body is biological, but the mind is not. It is spiritual. People are undergoing a lot of study. The children are admitted to kindergarten classes, thereafter primary, like that it goes on. They are not satisfied. They specialize in their knowledge. They also take to professional courses to improve their career possibilities, etc. While they do all this in the academic and educational sphere, poor people miss the fact success is itself a concept and pursuit of the mind. Am I clear or not? Success is itself a concept of the mind. It is also a pursuit of the mind. It is not your hands that pursue success. It is not your legs. It is the mind that pursues. So in making the life successful, the right focus is the mind. Mind. Mind is a constituent of the inner personality of man. Mind is a constituent in the inner personality of man. Body grows with food and nourishment. Exercise also, as I said. But you should tell me, what makes the mind grow? What makes the intelligence grow? When children get admission for a premier MBA institution in India, some of them were known to me, they write to me. So I write them a very good letter. What is the difference? When you go to a premier MBA program in a senior, very good institute and the others, there is a lot of difference. You are elevated from one level to another level. The whole evaluation, the whole insight, the whole point of view, everything changes. I was told that there is a boy called Rishikesh in Bombay. The family is very close to us. They have been associated with us. This Rishikesh boy, not very tall, short, he started losing weight. Can you imagine? Bombay is a very premier city in India. Very good doctors and medical facilities are there, hospitals are there. They were not able to do anything. So the mother said, you pack and go to the ashram. So he came to the ashram. What could we do? We sent him to a good doctor in Trichy. He went on struggling. He was lying on a cot. I went to see him in the ashram before being taken to the hospital. That boy was sick. He was lying on the cot. So I went and sat near the cot. This boy was asking me, give me a mantra, give me a mantra, give me a mantra. I was surprised before going to the hospital. So in an emergent measure, I gave him a mantra, spoke to him on his ear. Then this doctor went on experimenting, testing, etc. He found out it was an instance of TB. The Bombay doctors could not find it. I was surprised. He was set right, treatment started, everything was all right. He was admitted to a very premier institute. He's a very good boy, very intelligent. When he was young and he was a school student, he wrote to me a letter saying that I have written an article, attaching the article. After I read it, I fell in love with that boy. That impression is still in me. Such a good boy, spiritual also. So in the MBA program, he was saying he had 3 years of experience in a very good company, Ernst & Young. The students of the lower classes, they were asked to train the higher ones. Can you imagine? Younger students were asked to train the senior students. He was one of the younger ones. And whomever he trained for an interview and selection, that boy got the selection. So this MBA program, when properly done, it altogether brings about a drastic revolution and evolution in the student's mind. I write to children when I see them, good students, you see, you should study beyond your syllabus, I say. Not merely the syllabus. Study beyond the syllabus. Try to find out if there is an essay or a poem or anything like that. Who was the author? What were the circumstances in which he penned this particular poem or piece? What about him? What was the context? What was the purpose? And what is it that we have to imbibe from it? Why is it prescribed for us? This kind of a causal thinking we must take up. This is how intelligence is developed. This boy has done well and he has come out with a gold medal. So in every letter I will say, whatever it may be, a person like you should not be robbed by the corporate world, I say. Such good students, they should not be sold out to the corporate world making wealth. This is not the role for you. Find out your role. Constantly I have been telling him. You know what is the problem? I don't know about Malaysia, everywhere it is the same. We don't have first class teachers. All the good and the best students, they go to the corporate world. And we get second rate, third rate and fourth rate teachers. The situation should change. The best students should become teachers. They should teach. Even in the primary classes, 1, 2, 3, 4, it is a world finding that a student is best shaped in the primary 4 classes. And there we have teachers who have just passed school final. Kaise chalega? The world will never improve. An improvement which we must register in 10 years, it will take 200 years. See, a person who likes knowledge, who cherishes knowledge, who wants to float in knowledge, that is the person who should teach and impart it to the others. Where is the opportunity for that? So, intelligence development, it is always, mind is developed by good and noble thoughts, great thoughts, good and noble emotions. The mind should be treated with love, sympathy, sacrifice. All the other values are multiples of these. You must have love. Love not for a person, not for any particular item. Loving should be your nature. You should love yourself also. Love what you do. Love your act, your activity. Anything that you do, it should become excellent. This kind of the expansion in the mind, it is very, very important. Very, very important. But people are not understanding it. Where the actual understanding will start, nobody can say. I believe education, however best and academically excellent it is, true education, particularly cultural education, that will be at home, from the parents, from the elders. Enquiry and knowledge are very, very important. So you should every day spend some time using your intelligence to introspect over matters. Normally all of you are introspecting, but I would like you to introspect over what you are doing, how you are doing, are you doing it in a better manner, in a manner that can be improved. So every day there should be an examination. The intelligence should come into focus. Suppose you are developed properly, then I think successfulness will be a matter of, it will follow you wherever you go. I always make a sentence, I have made a sentence and I say, personal stories are the prevailing influence in mankind. American people will not like the expression mankind. So humankind, let me say. Personal stories are the prevailing influence. Now we are speaking about realizing the inner potentials for success in order to make life successful. What is this actually? It is best illustrated by some kind of an example. So I would like to take two people here. One is Arjuna, an illustrious fighter. Another is Krishna, a very efficient spiritual teacher. They lived more than 5,000 years ago. There was a very eventful dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna, which took place in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. This Kurukshetra is a place 145 kilometers away from New Delhi, the capital of Bharat, India. So it is something that took place more than 5,000 years ago. And because of the merits of the dialogue, the quality of the dialogue, the messagefulness of the dialogue, it has remained immortal in our land, in the whole world. Now Bhagavad Gita is taught in many places, especially in management area circle, it is taught. One day, a teacher came to me saying that I am going to do a PhD program and I am going to discuss the social aspects and relevances in Bhagavad Gita. Swamiji, will you help me? So I said, I shall tell you. She came to me, I spent time with her, and he got the PhD and she is the principal of an educational institution. So don't think that Bhagavad Gita is something religious, philosophical and spiritual. It is not so. As we have mentioned in our book, it is an administrative treasure trove. It is a management science. So this Bhagavad Gita was actually a dialogue that transpired in the battlefield of Kurukshetra 5,000 years ago. How did it happen? Arjuna was an illustrious fighter. He had undergone a 13-year exile 12 years in the forest, 1 year incognito life. All the 13 years he was preparing for the impending war of Mahabharata, which transpired in Kurukshetra. So with 13 years of preparation, he came to the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where both the armies, his own army and the opponent's army, both of them were arrayed. Before the commencement of the war, with blowing of conches, etc., Arjuna told Krishna, who was his charioteer, "Drive my horses right in front. Stop them in an area or in a spot from where I can examine both the armies, so that I will be in a position to evolve my strategy." Krishna instantly drove the horses very fast and stopped them right in front of Bhishma, Arjuna's grandfather, and Drona, his teacher. Both of them were in the opposing army. One was his own grandfather, mind you, who had put him on his lap and given morsels of food into the mouth, because Arjuna did not have a father. Such a grandfather he had to confront in war. Another was his own teacher, Drona, from whom he had imbibed all the archery and skills. And he has to use the knowledge he has gained from the teacher against the teacher. What will you do? Tell me. Don't say Arjuna and forget the matter. Put yourself in the position of Arjuna and think, what shall I do if such a situation faces me? But he faced it. Faced it. With the inner potential he imbibed from Krishna. Inner potential. Arjuna crumbled. Bhishma, my grandfather, Drona, my teacher. On both sides are arrayed my own relatives, kith and kin. What is it? I can fight with enemies, but not with friends and elders. With enemies I am all right. But here it is not enemies alone that I see. How can I have enmity towards my grandfather, who still loves me and blesses me? What about the teacher from whom I imbibed the fighting skill? Is it supposed to be used against the teacher? But this is what is. Can you imagine the confrontation, the consternation Arjuna had? So he started crying. The body began to tremble. The mind began to whirl. The Gandiva which he had held the bow, it slipped, he could not hold. Body is left aside. The intelligence said, this is a very sinful, bloody war. Don't fight it. Go back. This was the crisis that he had. He stood there, fought, and won. Tell me, what was the transformation there? A total crumbling. He was deserted by his body, deserted by his bow, deserted by the mind, deserted by the intelligence. Nothing else was there. There, he stood. Nobody was helping. So he fondly looked at Krishna. Krishna was always his own master incarnate. He looked at Arjuna and said, admonished him first. Arjuna, mind you, you are a fighter. All the people who have come here are fighters. And everyone has come here to kill his enemy and walk away as a victor. Everyone, not you alone. In such a scene, you cannot raise the cause of sympathy or other things. Speak the language of war. You are a Kshatriya. You are trained to fight. And you are fighting with the fighters. Your grandfather and your teacher have bow and arrow with them. They are going to discharge arrows against you. Why is it that you say, I cannot? This is a constriction of your mind. This is a delusion of your mind. Your grief, your doubt, All are due to ignorance and delusion. Here is a problem, I agree. Where is the problem? There itself it should be resolved. You have not merely the mind, the emotional mind, you also have the rational intelligence. Employ it and ask the intelligence to solve the problem. The problem is in the battlefield. You cannot retreat and solve the problem. Stand here and resolve. If you don't know, I shall teach you, he said. My dear souls, this is the dialogue. Because of the greatness of the dialogue, the effect of the dialogue, the relevance of the dialogue, the eternal illumination it carries, it no more remained a battlefield dialogue. It became a song of the soul, cherished by millions of people of the world now. It is read, reread, learned, discussed, disseminated ever since then. That is how we are linking up the subject with Bhagavad Gita. It began with Arjuna's grief, doubt, etc. What troubled Arjuna was his grief, then ignorance, fear, doubt and delusion. You tell me, are these only of Arjuna or are these confronting all of us in our life? Boli na thoda. Huh? For Arjuna it was a battlefield fight. For us, our life itself is the battle. Wherever you are and whatever you are. In the domestic front, in the professional front, and also in the societal front. These are the three fronts in which all of us are remaining active and wakeful. Everywhere the same is the battle. You have your ignorance, you have your fear, you have your doubt, you have your delusion. Some belong to the mind and some belong to the intelligence. We must be able to probe into, delve into our inner personality, unearth from there whatever are the causes and deal with them. This is what Bhagavad Gita does. Bhagavad Gita does. After hearing Arjuna, after hearing Krishna, he found that, oh, my point of view was wrong. I am not striking at the right level. So he said, I agree. Krishna, I have understood what you have said. After all, Krishna was dear to him. His words he could not dismiss at all. When Krishna said, your love is misplaced love. Your sympathy is a misplaced one. You are not worthy of this. You are worthy of something far greater and superior. So, Krishna activated, animated the intelligence of Arjuna. It was the mind that caused delusion and grief. So, he activated Arjuna's intelligence, using his own intelligence. And when the intelligence was activated, the picture before Arjuna changed. How he activated? The Bhagavad Gita is a text consisting of 700 verses in 18 chapters. The conversation began in the second chapter. So we have the 11th verse of the second chapter in Bhagavad Gita. This is the way he began. Am I clear? Ashojyananvashojastvam prajnavadamsya bhashase gatasun agatasumsya nanushojanti pandita. Up to what time is the talk? 9:30. Ashocyan anvashojastvam. See, from somewhere you have to begin. The scene was one of colossal death. You know how many fighters had come to the battlefield? 4.5 million. And all of them were killed. There they fell as dead bodies. In 18 days, So one day, how many would have died? You think about it. So death, impending death was the cause of Arjuna's grief. So Krishna was tackling that particular point. He says, Ashocyan anvashochastvam prajna vadamscha bhashase gatasoon agatasoomscha nanushochandi pandita. Arjuna gave a lecture to Krishna saying why he should not fight. He quoted the scriptures. He quoted the great people and then said, no, if we fight this war, we will be eternally in hell. We won't be able to we cannot retrieve ourselves from there. So you are speaking in a scholarly manner, Arjuna, but your behavior is very, very ignorant behavior. You are grieving over those people who should not be grieved at. Are you following me? His grief was about Bhishma and Drona. Look at their faces, they don't grieve. Why are you grieving? Why don't you go and fall at their feet and then say, I feel unnerved, but you are not unnerved. So what is that great point of view that you have? What does your intelligence see and say? Please let me know so that I can overcome my grief. That he was not saying. He was claiming that he has superior, he was quite alright, and therefore questioning Krishna. So he said, you are grieving over those people who should not be grieved at all. Why? Gatasoon agatasoomscha nanushochandi panditaha. The really wise man will not grieve over either the dead or the living. The first point of view. Am I speaking something sensible? Huh? See, he was grieving. So Krishna took up the point of grief itself and see how he tackles it. Panditaha, the enlightened people, gatasoon agatasoomscha, bodies from which life forces have gone, dead people, and bodies in which life forces are to go. So there are only two categories of people. Who are they? The people who are dead and gone, and the others who are going to die and go. We are all enlisted in what, you tell me? We are not gone, but we are under the broad list of to go. So if you grieve over somebody who has died, should you not equally grieve? He has gone and you will go. Should you not grieve? Tell me reasonably. If somebody has died and you grieve, look at the living people, you will also be dying. So if you grieve there, you should grieve here. Have you any answer to say? You know, in the world, I wanted to calculate because I cannot tell you all of a sudden in million. I know that 10,000 crores of people have lived and died. And 700 crores alone are living now. If you put it into millions, etc., 100 billion people have lived and passed away. 7 billion alone are living now on the planet. You tell me what is the rule then? Huh? Suppose all these people did not die. Do you think we would have food to eat now? Huh? So you want to die or live? Make light of it, Baba. We are discussing wisdom. Why are you afraid? If you say death, will it come? Suppose you say fire, fire, will your tongue be burnt? Huh? Our eyes see so many colors. Do the eyes become colored? Huh? Our mind can think in many ways. No thought will affect the mind, pain the mind, hurt the mind. The mind is so flexible. The mind is so spiritual that nothing will affect it. You have got such a great mind. A mind that can assimilate all kinds of impact from this world. If you are able to understand this, appreciate it, that itself will make your life successful everywhere. defeat will flee from your mind. Our mind is assimilating all impacts of life. Gatasoon agatasoomscha nalusochanti pandidaha. The enlightened people never grieve over either the dead or the living. This is the one formula. Arjuna was thinking about the colossal death of people, and that it has not become an event, it is to take place, and he was grieving. So nothing short of the message of immortality could be sufficient for Arjuna. Properly put, what is this Gita dialogue? It is a dialogue between the enlightened intelligence and the deluded mind. The enlightened intelligence is represented by Krishna, and the deluded mind is represented by Arjuna. The dialogue stands. When you become enlightened, the same dialogue will come out of your tongue. Now maybe you are deluded. So it is not at all a battlefield dialogue. That became the scene in which it evolved. But it is a dialogue which is eternally issuing forth from the enlightened intelligence of a human to the deluded mind of another human. This you should understand. That is why we are discussing Bhagavad Gita, in discussing the subject of inner potentials. What is this inner potential? You see, our organization here is called Society for Inner Resources Development. Society for Inner Resources Development. We always speak about external resources. External resources, whenever you harness, the earth becomes deplete. We have polluted air, polluted earth, polluted water. Our research should have been long earlier done to tap electricity from sun rays. In our ashram we have installed a solar system. Every day it is producing more than 100 units of electricity. I wanted to do it as a contribution to the nation, not for saving electricity for us. Why don't we do the right research? How much of coal, how much of nuclear? What is all this? I don't understand. Our human intelligence cannot do anything better. Cannot do anything better. He was possessed, obsessed by the death. And the message of deathlessness alone will suffice. That is why this message was delivered. How do you say that people who have died and people who are living, enlightened people look at them alike? What is their point of view, the enlightened vision, as a result of which they are able to look at both alike? This was the question of Arjuna. So Krishna starts saying, Natvevaham jadunasam natvam neme janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. I will explain it much better tomorrow. Today I say only this much. Natvevaham jadunasam natvam neme janadhipaha. Just see the way in which thought process is directed. Arjuna, you think that I was born of Devaki, and Krishna came into the earth only then. This is wrong. This is wrong. My body was born of Devaki, but the spirit that is present in the body was never born at all. As it is now in the body, it was then without the body. Natvevaham jadunasam. There was no time when I was not, when you were not, when Bhishma, Drona and the others were not. There was no time when we were not. There will not be a time when we shall cease to be. Are we not present now? Huh? If you are present now, Is it not necessary that you were present earlier? Do you think absence can give rise to presence? என்ன நீங்க பேசாம இருக்க? If you are not present earlier, how can you be present now? If you are present now and you were present earlier, will you not necessarily be present later also? Then never speak about destruction. Never speak about cessation. Never speak about non-existence. Existence can come only from existence, and the existence can never become non-existent. These are concepts of the intelligence. And to pursue these concepts, arrive at knowledge, it is a probe by the intelligence that is required, not by the eyes and ears. Every one of you has this intelligence. You don't employ it. You don't harness it. Intelligence is inside the body. Mind also is inside the body. They contain enormous potentials. The grieving Arjuna, the doubting Arjuna, the deluded Arjuna, the vacillating Arjuna, sitting on the chariot, Krishna looking at him and talking to him for 2.5 hours. Meanwhile, Arjuna picked up and he started raising questions and doubts. So the dialogue extended. Finally, at the end of the dialogue, the same vacillating Arjuna said, "Have you heard me?" Krishna asked. "Have you understood? Have you got back your stability and poise?" "Yes, Krishna, by your blessing I have got all. I am ready now. I will take back my weapon and I will fight not one Mahabharata war, but a score of it if necessary." Tell me, who brought about this change? Tapping what? Krishna was able to make Arjuna stable and poised and ready. Going to a restaurant and taking tea. Huh? Patting him on his back. It was inner resources, inner potential. The dormant potential that was there, it was made active and vibrant by Krishna by his dialogue, in which Arjuna also liberally participated, wholesomely participated. Now you tell me very clearly, do we have hidden inner potential or not? Yes. You have? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Then harness it. Harness it. This one text called Bhagavad Gita is the one which will enable you to harness it. Let it run parallel to your mind wherever you go and whatever you do. Open the book, read from the right side. You will find an answer to all your problems there. What is it that cannot be resolved by the intelligence? The Chandrayaan last time sent, they failed. They studied the whole process. Carefully they landed. And they landed on the south of the moon, where nobody had entered. So India was doing it for the first time. The world appreciates it, but maybe some intolerance also must be there. What is it that... See, people who have not gone to the moon, not seen it, they are engineering a journey there and safe landing. What is this? The war did take place, and all the 4.5 million minus 10 also died. The same Arjuna who said, "I want to retreat," he was made ready to fight. In the same manner, harnessing the inner potentials, my dear souls, we can do anything that we want to do without hurting others, harming others, and you can be successful and super successful. This is the message I have to give you on behalf of Bhagavad Gita. Let me stop. The verse I am reciting is from Yoga Vasishta Ramayana. If you can take interest in knowing what is the meaning, that itself will bring a revolution in you. സംവേദ്യവർജിതമനുത്തമമേകമാദ്യം സംവിത്പദം വികലനം കലയൻ മഹാത്മൻ ഹൃദ്യേവ തിഷ്ഠ കലനാരഹിതക്രിയാം തു കുർവൻ അകർത്തൃപദമേത്യ ശമോദിതശ്രീ കുർവൻ അകർത്തൃപദമേത്യ ശമോദിതശ്രീ. ഹരി 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 ഓം തസ്സത്. We shall have a conclusional Omkara. Take your pose for it and join me. Harihi Om Tas. Jai Guru.